He could also still go Dom. It's a classic Darkseer build with obviously the Dom creep being fast, and then you just put Ion Shell on it. So I think he has some options this patch that he might not have had in the last one. Oh, this is a good last pick. Okay, so I think just to finish off this Darkseer hero, I think they picked it because it's really good against slows here. Venomancer hates the Darkseer matchup because he's all about the slows. You can run away. It's decent against Crystal Maiden. But the matchup into Doom is not necessarily that great. Getting doomed as Darkseer sucks. Your auras are just disabled. You can't use all your teamfight items. And yeah, you mentioned the PL. Similar logic. He's good against these single target heroes that Singularity have. But now with this 10th pick Alchemist, I actually think Singularity might have a leg up in this game. He looks very good this game. There's almost nothing that deals with him. And I think the lane matchup against Wind Ranger is pretty fine, let's say. But he might not even go mid. We'll see.
You know, Zitrax is going to be playing the Alchemist. I said this during TI, and we didn't get to see it that often. We did see a lot of Alchemists, but not a whole lot of Alchemists buying Ags for people. Oh dear, please let it happen. Doom Ags is incredible. Tiny Ags is incredible. Although, what do you think of Tiny Ags now with this current iteration of the hero? Because you keep the tree essentially the whole game. You can throw it occasionally to get like a last hit or a final hit on the hero. But he farms so much better than before. And I'm pretty sure you continue to max that. And you only get one in each avalanche and toss. Fairly sure.
The recent way of playing Tiny is playing him way more farm intensive and just maxing tree grab, making stacks in the jungle. It's a really nice transition because the time Tiny wants to go to the jungle will overlap with neutral items being available in minute 7. So if you have stacks, then Tiny and Alchemist both in this game can just clear stacks and find those items. Yeah, it's definitely a new version of the hero. By the way, I just got an idea. Why don't we change Tiny's Ags now that he has the tree all the time? Tiny Ags should make it a boomerang where the tree comes back to you, and then you have 3 throws.
That sounds awful. The tree volley is way better.
Okay,
way
you have
better.
5 throws.
Wait, do you throw them all at the same time?
You have 2 trees.
Okay, now we're talking. That's like Darth Maul status. That sounds really good.
Sounds like a boss from Dark Souls.
I'm in. Love it. Hopefully Valve is watching at 5 in the morning. Actually, it's 4 in the morning Seattle time. Goodness me. Have you noticed a huge difference in play style from pubs to pros in terms of the difference in this patch? Because from pubs, in my experience, and from even watching like high-level pubs, it just feels like they're fighting all the time. And we saw that at TI, obviously, but it's a little bit different now because it's based on objectives of the actual outpost now. Are we seeing kind of a similar thing? Or has it just been like a shit show?
I would say it's similar in the sense that both Pro and Pub Dota, I would say, is more active overall and a bit less strategic. And that isn't meant in the sense that the teams are stupid and aren't thinking about it. But I think it's just natural when there's so much new stuff happening at once that the finesse and all the perfect strategy and stuff just takes weeks and months to develop. So the games are a little bit more chaotic. And just the nature of the game, right? The more objectives there are on the map, the more movements you're supposed to make, and the more likely it is you encounter enemies. So I think people were concerned with this neutral creep change, that everyone was just going to be stuck in the jungle farming for those items. But to be honest, I haven't seen that as a problem at all. I think both pubs and pro games have a lot of activity.
Well, I think they did a really good job at changing like really fast the tiers, right? You only can get 3 per tier now, so there's a lot less incentive to go into the jungle because it's not that difficult to find those 3 items if you're just in there for a couple minutes. So, not sure if that would have progressed into what you're saying, because that was my first, I mean, that was both of our first thoughts on reading the patch notes, so that's good to see either way. Now, are there any, Cinder, before we get into this, are there any tier 1 items, you think, for the neutrals that are maybe too overpowered that would make a huge difference in the game? Or are they all just kind of meh?
I think whenever you have Alchemist in your team, you want the Trusty Shovel, right?
True.
Probably.
They did nerf that,
an item
right?
It has way lower chance of finding bounty runes, but it also has lower cooldown. I think even like for Alchemist, the thing is, even if he digs up a Kobold, it's still a CS, right? For his Grievous Greed, so even that is okay. I think it's the hero in the game that benefits the most from having that item in the team.
That's true.
Outside of that, I me look. I need to look at the items because it's still way too new. for
What,
me
you
to
haven't
remember
memorized the
everything by heart.
62 items yet?
No, not yet. We'll get there.
You call yourself a professional gamer?
Professional gamer. I don't really think there's anything else that's like really good for
Yeah, I
either
agree.
team in this game. Arcane Ring is always nice, I would say. And Iron Talon could be a thing. I don't know. Iron Talon has seemed very underwhelming to me because what made it good as an item back then when it was a normal purchase item was that you got it very early and then you jungled. But now you're likely not finding it until minute 8 or 9. At that point, Iron Talon's already a pretty bad item. I honestly think it might be the worst item in the game.
Yeah, I always feel very underwhelmed and very saddened when
Yeah.
the team picks it up. It's such a late stage of the game. Wait, is the Trusty Shovel, is that actually a tier 1? I'm too
Yes.
afraid to look. Okay.
It is.
I don't want to miss a kill, Synderen.
Oh.
I am the cameraman
Look at
after
you.
all. I haven't. Hey guys, I haven't missed a kill yet. Can you believe it? Bottom lane, we're going to see a frostbite onto GH. I've seen a lot of
Just a
mangoes being
bite.
consumed here. This game
This
so
is a
far.
very aggressive build from DNZ. You usually go Aura on level 2. It's super useful
Oh!
for your teammates.
All right, Kuroki takes a tumble. I got it, Synderen. Don't worry.
Got it.
Miracle taking some right clicks from Hestajo. I believe he's Danish, if I'm not mistaken.
He
is that right?
It
Is he a
means-
Han
it
player?
means- Hesta means horses.
That's right. That's how I know him.
Actually,
Yeah.
it's Horse Joe.
Horse
The
Joe. That,
real Texan.
my new favorite Danish player. Thank you, Hestajo.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
So
Frostbite?
so far the laning stage, bottom lane Nigma playing this Darkseer Rubik lane, which just focuses on pushing out the wave, and Alchemist doesn't really mind that too much as long as he isn't getting harassed too hard. And Maiden has protected him well, so Alchemist is getting good farm. The mid lane seems to be pretty much a draw between Windranger and Tiny. And then the top lane for Singularity just got first blood, like you said. And I think this matchup, Doom into Chen, has to feel really nice to play, right? Chen gets this Harpy Stormcrafter, you can just get rid of it. Oh, that's a courier snipe.
I won't be getting any of those, by the way.
From
Not even.
G-
Yes, from a guh. Well, GH gets the telekinesis bottom. And it looks like that's going to be an easy kill on the Crystal Maiden. In the meantime, PL does die in the top lane, though. So
Yep.
a fair trade globally for Team Singularity, it seems. Venomancer has felt really strong based on what I've seen from the pro scene thus far. Just, like, how do you even counter this hero these days? It feels like the degen aura, the degen health, whatever you want to call it. Well, actually, what do you call that?
HP reduction?
HP reduction? No.
HP regen reduction? That's actually
Yeah,
the
it's-
wording on it. It's a bit
That's
awkward to
really
say,
bad
though.
wording.
The anti-regen, let's call it that.
Oh, that's pretty good. Okay. We're getting to the 5-minute segment here. Of course, the outpost won't be up until 10. But it looks like the bounty runes will be most likely split. Actually, no, Singularity will get third one. Very nice.
You love that when you're Alchemist. Good job, team.
Ever since they changed it,
Continue forward.
the bounty runes for them to be global for Mr. Alchemist. It's been like a year now, I think, a year and a half. He has felt so good, especially when you have good map control. And the cool thing about him is he probably will go, well, it depends on his build, actually, but if he goes for like a boosted travel build, using that on Outpost can be quite nice because it doesn't stack the delayed time.
And
feel
it
like
takes
boosted
3
travel
seconds
gotten
as
a lot
well,
better.
right? It's not
Is
only
it a reduction? Okay.
I thought it's also 3-second TP instead of 6, but I could be wrong on that. I don't buy travels very often, but I
You
think
should.
I read it somewhere.
They're great on all heroes now, Synderen. Your position
Yeah, they're
5
just
can definitely get
expensive.
it. No, you can get it. Well,
So, but yeah, to
Hestajo?
answer your question about Veno, he definitely seems powerful, but there are heroes that can deal with it. Like the laning stage is rough, but a hero like PL I think should just be overall good against Veno for the majority of the game. And now with the help from Chen, Hestajo is totally out of mana. He's got 2 Mind Stealers up here on Chen. It's just being super annoying.
They did
And
change
Veno
these
is
creeps
not
a little
that
bit.
threatening without mana.
Mid lane, Weehaw is going to take an avalanche to the face. There's going to be a TP coming in, though. And that might be enough to actually hold him off here. As Weehaw will get the counter kill onto the Doom now. Excalibur with pretty much no mana to speak of. So good TP by GH. Doing a little bit more harassment damage on the Tiny, but a successful rotation overall.
I'm surprised Aine kept going for that one. That looked hopeless the moment the Rubik TP started coming in, but he was just set on diving for that kill. And that was a pretty easy punish for Enigma there. And GH's game, let's not forget, it's really good right now. He's level 5.5 minutes 7. That's awesome. Mind Control's getting his 5 just now in the bottom lane. So
He's about to get ganked, though. We'll see if this will be successful or not. He's
He's
completely
super
out of mana. He's going to take a Crystal Nova. Does get the Surge off. Of course, CM does have Frostbite available.
Oh.
Nice juking from Mind Control, though. And he gets purged. And I believe another Purge is coming. Not even needed, actually.
Not needed.
This should be an easy kill.
there's
Finally
that
going the way of
Scorched
Doom.
Earth. It lasts forever, man. Look at it.
He needs it, man. This hero was garbage before.
It lasts forever.
Heroes needed love for a long time, honestly. A GH
Yeah, but then again,
now
it's
needs to
Doom,
be
and who
careful.
likes to... Okay.
I love playing Doom. How dare you? Frostbite's going to connect. Very difficult one to connect. Very skill shot oriented skill. As GH will take a tumble now, so a 4-2 advantage for Singularity. Weeha did TP. He's going to take a little bit of damage as a result of this. Mind Control TP's back to his lane as well. Focus Fire applied to Alchemist. Avalanche
And
is
Weeha
here, though.
can't use Wind Run
Excalibur
here 'cause of the
toss as
Purge.
well. And Weeha will now die again.
The Purge creep is actually incredible this game for Doom. I think he's going to keep it for the rest of the game. It counters Surge and it counters Wind Run so well. It's just a... That's
Is the
another thing
mana
about this
capacity
hero.
a problem, though?
You can itemize around that. I think we'll see him buy something that... Maybe even Mana Boots. Because how much move speed you get with Scorched Earth, I don't think you necessarily need Phase Boots.
Oh my god.
They got the shovel.
Wow. And
Oh,
it was
there you go.
him. He got it, too. Not that that matters, of course, but
Oh,
Saves a little extra time.
kinda, because then if he digs up a Cobalt, he can farm it himself, right?
yeah, that's right.
Oh, look at Healing Cell. Can you sell the items you dig up?
No. Or highly doubtful. I haven't technically tested it, but I would be shocked if you can.
See, the thing is, intuitively we say no, because that would be broken. But then you remember the patch. So is it broken?
That's true. Not quite as
If
broken as
everything
other
is broken,
things.
nothing is, right?
I mean, that's kind of the mentality of Ice Frog Balance, which is the beauty of it, right? It's the genius. Doom himself, Scorched
oh,
Earth,
Jake's in trouble now.
is up again. Infernal Blade does connect on GH. Takes a Crystal Nova. Think he'll be able to get out of here as the Tier 1 tower is very close. Kuroki coming in with a couple creeps as well. Looks like they're going to turn this around as Crystal Maiden will get killed.
He stole Purge on Rubik. That's not really very useful here, unfortunately for him. I think he was hoping to get Scorched Earth, maybe. That's a great spell, but... He'll take what he can. He just got the 6, so anything's better than nothing.
You know, I don't know if this is being a little ignorant or not, but I feel like ever since they got rid of level death on Doom and they put Infernal Blade in, I feel like he feels by far the best at this point now. As he might, well, he's going to run to a few heroes. They're kind of collapsing here on Kuroki. Takes the Infernal Blade again, and looks like Doom is going to TP out because it is a 10-minute period. They're going to get the kill. Let's look at the top lane here. Hesta Joe should be able to secure this outpost, and in the meantime, Mind Control will get the bottom one, so it looks like it'll be a split overall.
Yep. And the bounties went... Oh, did they get all of them? I think Neymar got all 4. They did. And they traded... I mean, that's worth losing a Chen over. Getting 4 bounty runes
Yeah,
against
that's
Alchemist is really, really important. Oh, GH.
Yeah, GH very
It's
aggressive in
probably
the
fine,
enemy
actually.
jungle.
Alchemist has no mana.
Tower is being subjected to extreme violence.
So going to the double bracer Radiance build. By the way, I was going to ask you this, just generally speaking. I've still been seeing a lot of pros go double bracers on some of these heroes. Do you think that's less value now that your inventory gets filled up so much quicker thanks to the neutral items? Or is it not
Just
really
find a
that big
Vambrace,
deal?
bro.
That's what I say, and it never comes, you know? It's just one of those things. Very annoying.
I still think... I think the tempo of the game kind of demands it. In some ways, it might even be better than before, just because of how much happens right now in the
Okay,
game. Like,
yeah.
between 10 and 15 minutes, there's a lot going on. You see Enigma going to take mid-tier 1 tower. They're probably going to pressure the bottom tier 1 tower, because now is the time that you need to limit Alchemist's space on the map while PL farms. This is inherently a bad matchup for PL. Alchemist is one of the best counter picks. He's tanky. He buys Radiance. He can buy Shiva and feel good about it. So you can just deal with all your illusions and just be a menace. And he also comes online at a good time to fight the PL before he gets multiple item slots. So
Good news,
That's-
Cinderin. Royal jelly on each respective side. One of my
Oh.
favorite items. I love eating that jelly. It is delicious.
You gotta give a jelly to Darkseer, right? It's really good on him.
Let's see. Who has it
Who
right
has
now?
the jellos? All right, one on Weeha.
So
He's
we
carrying one. Oh, they
he's-
just give one to... Maybe they give one
PL.
to Weeha and one to PL. Yeah.
Middle tower is under an
Well, you think Weeha would have eaten it by now. I don't think it's for him. He's waiting. Now, the question is, can you apply it to the enemy? Very interesting discussion. We have to hold on to that for now. As Mind Control will get doomed in the bot lane. Will the deny come through?
Nice try.
No, not going to happen, as GH might be in a little bit of trouble now. Taking some Poison Sting damage. Gets purged again, as this Doom is just all over the place. Frostbite now into Weeha. Shackle Shot will not connect. As it looks like Kuroki dies on the other side of the map as well. So Singularity off to a very good start. And a lot of this has to do with this Doom. You're right. This Purge ability has been complete MVP right now.
Doom is just owning. Like, just flat out owning in this game right now. The one hero in the Dire that's having a great time is the PL. Miracle's farm has been more or less uncontested, apart from the very early stages with Venomancer. So, at the very least, he's building up nicely. But because Alchemist hasn't really been slowed down, it's not your classic PL game where, oh, PL's having free farm, he will destroy at minute 20, 25-ish when he has Diffusal Manta. Because Alchemist can match him or beat him at this timing, and there's nobody on the Dire that really kills this Alch. Maybe Weeha if he gets like 1 or 2 full-out damage items, but if you have nothing defensive against these Radiant heroes, you're food. There are so many things that can just kill you. The tiniest damage, if you get
Is
caught
it,
by a slow, if you get doomed, whatever.
Is it normal to go MKB first item on Windrunner? Are we going to see Alchemist get initiated on by the amalgamation of Nigma's heroes?
This is a
Alchemist will
good
just
pick.
die, actually.
Very nice kill.
easy kill. Doom TP's in. See if they can get a counter kill or not. Looks like Mind Control will be the sacrifice for his team. Gets the Surge off, though. It's going to be close. Poison Sting bringing him down. Can they deny him because of the Gale? Oh, they do. Kuroki just in time before the tree connects on the backside of his head. Back to Weeha, Cinderin. MKB
Yeah, so-
first item.
It's more common than you would think. One of the standard builds that players started doing was a Javelin into BKB, and then upgrading the Javelin to MKB. But I think this read on this game, I kind of like it. I think BKB is too defensive. He needs to hurt a lot. MKB also got buffed, right? It pierces BKB now. The magic damage does. So it's just objectively a better item than last patch. And Alchemist is one of those heroes that likes getting an early BKB, so it gives them the possibility of still killing him. So I think that's a solid choice.
Well, GH finally gets that Scorched Earth ability. He'll be very happy with that. As this top... Do you like calling them top and bottom, south and north? Or I believe they are northwest and southeast, technically, but I don't like saying that.
Just for simplicity, I think I would call them top and bot, just like you do with the lanes. Like, it's just easier to say.
I agree. Totally agree.
But
By the way,
hear me out. Since they named them northwest and southeast, do you think they have plans of putting in more outposts? And this is just a test.
they just want to, leave themselves open for interpretation. Just anything can happen in this game. Maybe the entire game mode is just getting outposts and you don't fight anymore. That could be the future of Dota. What do you think?
A resource-based game.
Yes, and then we can
Sounds
finally
like what Dota
introduce
already
Lumber.
is.
Oh, looks like they do find the Vambrace, actually. That is,
there you go.
oh, that's on Nigma's side, though. So
Yeah, do they have anyone who can use it? Weeha has... Oh, he has one null. Yeah, nobody can really use it.
Do you buy a null right now?
It looks
that a
like
thing?
Miracle will buy a Wraith Band.
A second Wraith Band? Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Oh, we have a smoke here by Singularity. Weeha might be the sacrificial lamb if they can actually jump Excalibur. Has the... Oh, nice Shackle Shot, though. Crystal Maiden gets completely decimated. And perhaps Singularity needs to run now. As Nigma is ready to go. Nice stomp from Doom. He got rid of the Purge Creep, by the way. Gets the Doom off into the Veno ult as well. Weeha is just dropping so fast. So it's a 1-for-1 to start this fight. Alchemist coming in with the Unstable Concoction onto Kuroki, who's completely surrounded. Another stomp. And that is 2 kills. Another Vambrace. Yes, he did it. He found it. What a god.
I told you he'd just find the Vambrace. You didn't believe me.
How are you always right about everything? Except when you're not.
Yeah,
That's when it's shocking.
that's very rare, though.
It is.
Just looking at that fight and how it unfolded, just how incredibly powerful is Doom in these situations when the enemy team has used 1 or 2 lockdowns and you just run in, right?
Yeah.
Shackle Shot's on cooldown. He just casts his Scorched Earth, runs through them, and Dooms the Wind Ranger. Oh, he's in trouble
Well, you're
now,
speaking
though. He
his
went too
praise,
far.
and he walks into potential death here.
He spell Lifesteal, though.
Well, he does have the Vampire Fangs, you're right. Which is a pretty quality item, I have to say. Hesta Joe, in the meantime, though, that Diffusal Blade is completely destroying him as he will fall. So an easy
Wait,
kill
did
for
anybody
Enigma.
clumsy net that?
Is there a clumsy net on the team?
Oh, Rubik.
Not-
Rubik has clumsy net.
Okay. I like how you can actually check the team
Radiant's middle tower
neutral
is under
items as a
attack.
spectator, because they didn't have that functionality for other
Structures
stuff in the
are
shop.
defensively fortified.
Nice quality of life thing, Valve. We like it. So it looks like Singularity has one more item to get, and Enigma has one as well.
About such things,
Very exciting stuff. Neutral item watch,
Radiant's
as this tier 2 tower will
under attack.
be destroyed.
Structures are fortified. Radiant's middle tower
And Miracle, of course, with his Diffusal, has the casual Hood of Defiance. Broom Handle, which I think a lot of people have been kind of gravitating towards the fact that it's maybe one of the worst items in that tier. Just underwhelming in general. I mean, is it
12
really
damage,
that
3
bad?
armor is not bad. I think
Well,
it's
I guess-
way better than
Let
Iron
me-
Talon.
the attack range, though.
for example.
That specifically, I guess.
Yeah, the attack range part is not very important, I would say, for most heroes at least. I think maybe the hero that benefits from it the absolute most is, ironically, is probably Monkey King, who has the highest melee range already. But just having reach on that hero is super useful. I think on somebody like PL, I don't know if it matters that much, right? You charge to them anyway, you will buy a Diffusal and slow them down, so you will have the reach, but 12 damage, 3 armor is nice. Like, if you think what you pay for that in the shop, and you put it in comparison to what other alternatives you have in the tier 1 list, I don't think this item's that bad.
We see a Pupil's Gift picked up by Singularity as well, passed off immediately to Crystal Maiden. So 13 attributes to both strength and agility, which is very important for her once she gets the 250 attack speed, of course, at level 20, which will definitely happen this game, right?
Yes, of course.
I mean, this item just feels like, for the most part, obviously
It's
it's kind of
great.
situational, but in terms of like getting full use, min-maxing, but it's typically something you just put on in hero, right, for that extra strength, usually.
Int or Agi hero, but they don't have an Agi carry, right? Agi carries use this item very well. Getting all the health is super nice. The alternatives in this game is you could put it on Tiny, but I think he has item slots, his slot limitations, just flat out. Or you could put it on the Venno, who would also get strength. And they actually did that. I was considering if they would. He moved the gift over to Venno, because he gets the strength.
Good old Benno.
That's the biggest thing about this, is that at this time in the game, it just seems like strength is, for the most part, the more powerful stat to get a sudden 13 boost to. And that's why you almost never see this on strength heroes, because the other heroes get strength, and what strength heroes in the game really get a lot out of getting Agi and Int right now? Like, it's just way harder to find a situation where it feels as impactful.
Yeah, that's true.
Even
By the way,
trade-off again, runes and
The
outpost.
Vambrace, that is the agility Vambrace right now for Miracle. That's set in stone, right? It can never be. But you can pass this off, even though these are your Wraith bands. You can pass this off to somebody now that's been combined. I'm 99% sure, based on the fact that
Yes.
Fallen Skies works that way.
He can give it to someone else now. But
And we
there's
were
no
talking about
reason
you
to.
don't like that. I think it's needed for simplicity's sake. You know what I mean?
Maybe.
I think it just gets too complicated if you give this to like a newer player. Like, oh, I have to rebuild part of it. I don't know. This feels weird.
Radiant's
I need to
bottom tower
think.
is being subjected
This
Well-
game is not for me.
Hey, the game's hard enough, Cinderin. Okay, not everybody can be a pro player.
Nowadays, you just run at things and hit them.
That's right. This is Heroes of the Storm. Dota. Now that game's dead, Icestrike's like, thank God I can steal all their ideas. Their talents have already been put in and people loved it. Let's put in Outposts. Let's put in constant fighting as Alchemist is going to jump in with that newly picked up Blink Dagger. Going to apply all the pressure to Kuroki, who is now surrounded by the entirety of Singularity. We'll take a Frostbite and the easy kill for them.
Might lose
As-
his army too.
Crystal Maiden upgrades Arcane Aura. Special announcement here, everybody. One of the best cosmetics in the game. It scares the shit out of you every time. And then you're like, oh, okay, the aura got upgraded. Excellent.
I really love that. The animation of that. I think the aura is super. This cosmetic is one of my favorites in the game. Also, just the staff itself looks very nice. DNZ is a pleb though, so he doesn't have the golden one. It's one of my favorite golden items too.
Staff.
It's
Ooh,
awesome.
you're right. It's quite pretty.
It is really nice.
You know, I actually don't really like golden versions of items. I feel like they lose their luster. You know, they're just very
think
generic.
I think
that
for
point.
a lot of them, or at least some, it doesn't really look as good. Like, the best way I can explain is that I feel like some golden items look a bit forced. Like, we need to have a golden item, which one can we put it on? And then on some heroes, gold looks really good. Like Monkey King, I think his golden outfit is incredible.
Oh, Doom jumping into the pit. We're going to have to hold this cosmetic discussion
boy.
just a little bit longer, as much as I hate to say that, as Doom gets destroyed. Very easy kill for Nigma, as Roche is at half HP. He cannot buy back in the game, so it's a 4v5, whichever way you look at it for Singularity. But with Veno and all this AoE,
Very rush.
Nigma is very, like, a little bit hesitant here. Is Miracle going to run into the Crystal Maiden? Gets off his W, but there's the BKBs pop galore from Excalibur and company. Has the Mask of Madness, which we'll talk about very shortly. Weehaw trying to run away. Doesn't have Windrunner for another 1 second. Oh, he does get it off, but will go down finally to the dot damage. As it a 2-for-1, the buyback onto the Crystal Maiden, as Hesta Joe will fall now. And the Avalanche stolen by Rubik, as it looks like Nigma has won this fight pretty handily. But the question is,
Yeah.
do they have enough to go for Roche still? Doesn't look
Doom
like it.
just jumping in like that and getting murdered is a big problem. I don't think Singularity need to get that reckless. If they're all in range and they go in together with their 2 BKBs and they just ball in, I feel like they're extremely strong. But obviously Enigma will take that. They don't get the Roche out of it, however. But they are trying to keep playing aggressively here. Sending in Miracle onto DNZ, but he got out. And now Excalibur.
Miracle
Some damage.
also has the Manta style, as
But who's
looks
killing
like
who?
yeah, the Avalanche was stolen like we talked about, so that's going to be the death of Excalibur himself. And another 5v4, well, 5v3 until Veno's actually back in the fold. Now they're going on top of Alchemist. Looks like the Doom jumps in just to get off a hoof stomp and then will swiftly die.
They are...
The Doom has
This
fallen
is-
off quite a bit.
This is weird to watch. Like, they've actually... Singularity have been playing a pretty good game, and now they seem very stressed. Like, this last minute seemed very forced. The way Doom jumped in and died, and then they still had to defend the Roche's 4. And now while they have dead heroes, you obviously don't have the information that we do about the state of Roshan, and they're probably paranoid about it. But you have ways of getting vision in there. You can put in a Plague Warder, you can cast a Crystal Nova, use that for information instead of sacrificing a hero, and this whole situation will never end up going this way. But basically puts Nigma back in a good spot here. Now they have an Aegis on Miracle, so he can frontline, force cooldowns, and on his second life probably end up winning the fight.
And they're going to get both outposts as well. They're taking over the top one right now with only 15 seconds to go. Unless Singularity can get
Oh, they're ready for
something,
this.
you know, they're
Zitrax
ready.
doesn't know.
Alchemist jumps in, but little does he know there's 3 members of Nigma here. They're first going to go on top of Crystal Maiden. Gets off the ult, but the vacuum will cancel immediately. BKB popped by Zitrax, and he's just going to get chased down in all likelihood, as Weeha's MKB is shredding. Jesus. And even though they have an Alchemist, they're up 2k, which essentially means you're down in a game like this.
This was a very nice play from Nigma here. Realizing that their top shrine, or sorry, the top outpost was probably safe, and that Singularity would try to make a move bottom. They were pre-set up already. Kuro was baiting with Glimmer Cape, and then they kept 2 heroes in the fog just waiting for Singularity to take that bait. And that was maybe the biggest play of the game, actually. It just puts them in this incredible position where they have Aegis, and they can hit high ground, and they killed the Alchemist. And there's no way he wants to buy back. So at this point, when the enemy pressure this hard back into base, and the only lane they really have pushed is top, they need to find a way to get out and get some ground back. And that seems tough right now.
Yeah. I mean, you said they technically have some ways to deal with PL, but he's still a really hard hero to contain, pretty much regardless of lineups if he gets enough farm. Level 20 right now for Miracle. And looks like he's going to go on top of Hesta Joe to start. Gale does come out, but not doing a whole lot right now. Devour bonus gold picked up by Doom.
Yep.
Which I want to talk about some of these talents at some point, but obviously we're going to have some action here. As Miracle, the slow siege continues. The melee Rax is about half HP. A smoke actually was activated by Nigma. As Avalanche will completely whiff for Excalibur. And they're going to
the
top of
lift.
Alchemist right now. Lift into the Fable. He pops the BKB. Do they have enough damage to actually finish him off? Hester Joe jumps in with that ultimate. Does get it off. Dies shortly after. Alchemist will finally come back in. Gets a double stun with the concoction. But it's a 1-for-0 to start this. As Miracle ticking down very slowly to that Poison Nova. But Kuroki, Hand of God. And of course, Miracle still has that Aegis intact. So the slow siege continues. As he's just going to drain all the mana from Excalibur, who gets off the Avalanche at the last second. Venomancer buys back in the game. Of course, remember, his ultimate was already used. As Concoction will come through, and the buyback onto Excalibur as well. The net applied to Doom. And the ultimate from CM, not quite canceled there, but Shackle Shot does keep Alchemist in place. So the tier 3 tower might be what they'll settle for here. As Nigma feeling pretty happy that they forced a bunch of buybacks and just going to play this very disciplined.
Their spell usage just seems way superior. It's like Singularity. I don't know how to explain it. It's like they hit a negative switch, you know? Like we were using everything well, and then suddenly they're getting a bit stressed out, and Nigma takes full advantage of it. If you don't go in together as this Radiant side and you really just run at them and overwhelm them, you get poked down eventually by power shots, by ion shells, by Rubik nukes, PL illusions. You have to be like, it's go time, and people run in. You have a Doom with Blink. You have a Veno with ridiculous amounts of damage. You have an Alchemist with Blink. I don't know if it's a problem for them that Tiny doesn't have a dagger, because he seems to struggle a little bit with connecting into the fights. But obviously he is going for this combat build that's very popular right now. It's just a little strange to see, and maybe it's some of that, you know, Dota, there's a lot of mental game going on. It's a lot about confidence and good communication, and Singularity just feel like they started doubting themselves a little bit after 1 or 2 hiccups in this game, and all steam has just been blown out of it. You gotta get it back. You gotta take fights.
I wanted to talk to you about the Tiny build, because I've also been seeing this very similar, the Mask of Mana specifically, in a lot of these pro pubs. Obviously, once you expend your Avalanche Toss and you can keep the Tree Grab forever, Mask of Madness does make a lot of sense. But does that mean typically you don't get any Blink Dagger or any type of mobility? Is that the general norm right now that you've been seeing?
I'm not completely sure. I haven't seen that many games to say that it's the norm, but I think the games that I have seen, Tiny did not go dagger.
Okay.
It has its pros and its cons, because look at Tiny's move speed. Like, you pop Mask of Madness, but it's not great, right?
I missed my first kill.
358.
Shit! Okay, go
You'll
ahead.
have 358 move speed when you pop this Mask of Madness. Like, can you actually get on top of targets? They have Surge, they have Wind Run, you know, PL can get away with his stuff. I feel like you need something to reliably get in there and get it done, right? It's cool to have all these right clicks, but you're not getting on heroes for the most part. You're just too slow.
You lose move speed now with Tree Throw, right? When you have it, when you have the tree intel. It's like
Mine's
20 move
25, I
speed.
think it is.
25. Okay. I mean it's not
20.
percentage based. That's not like the. I mean he's pretty slow though.
He's slow.
Maybe
Look at this.
phase boots is the play. I don't know. That is a little odd.
I'm still feeling a dagger just to, you know, fight breaks out, you get in on the backline, you blink, Avalanche, toss that Rubik, press BKB and Mask of Madness, and then you fucking maul him. He's gonna die. But
man.
nice 4-step.
Wow, that was disgusting.
Wait,
Looks
that
like
was his
Excalibur
own
pops the
team's 4-step.
BKB and will die. Doom in the backside though gets the Doom off onto Rubik, but they're just gonna apply the rest of the pressure onto him.
They just
So that's yet
went
another easy
in
kill.
with Alchemist dead for 5 seconds. With this Doom, he just ran in. Yeah, the 4-step I believe was actually Veno's, by the way. So that was
Ouch, not good.
a failed defensive 4-step from what I could tell.
Hester Joe gets initiated on, but we're gonna watch this as Alchemist pops the BKB. And again, Weehaw is just completely destroying him with this focus fire. MKB, not even close. As it looks like Nigma's going to take game 1 of this best of 3 as GGs are called. Winner of this series will go on to the upper bracket finals. And winner of that, of course, will go on to the actual minor in Bukovo. Bukovo. I need to ask somebody actually how to pronounce that.